Hello there, one and all, and welcome to episode 402 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, live on YouTube. As always, thank you very much for tuning in, whether you're watching live or you're watching the recording. First comment for this one goes to Ty, who I don't know how you're meant to read that emoji. I guess that's a kind of smile. C. Jane says, made it for the start. You're very, very welcome. Eco Jock is here as well. So is Rachel, so is Rachel. So is Stephanie, who says hello from a rainy NYC. Funny, I never associate rain with New York. Rachel says, oh, a Chanel goodie. Curious about this one too, though not very hopeful. Polpo is here as well. Rich Mitch, happy birthday. Did you get our birthday wishes from the previous video? Everybody say happy birthday to Rich. Eric says, hello all, the eclipse is really kicking up outside my window. Now, I don't know anything about this. I'm assuming, well, hang on, what time is it? It can't be a lunar eclipse, right? Have you got a solar eclipse over in Texas at the moment? RM says, yay, I'm just in time for a live. Hello, everyone. And yes, Rich says, a birthday, me. Many, many, many happy returns to you, Rich. And another Rich says, hi from exotic Omaha. Anyway, keep the wishes coming, keep the questions coming, keep the comments coming. Please do subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so, because when it's your birthday, we will all wish you a happy birthday from everywhere around the world. Let us talk about this though now. Ostensibly, the subject of this particular video is this bottle here, the new eau de parfum version of Chanel Chance Eau Fraiche. There was an EDT of Chanel Chance Eau Fraiche that came out in 2007, so they've waited a while to give us the EDP. But I don't think we have actually really talked very much about Chance at all on this channel anyway, so it's an opportunity for us to discuss all things Chancey. Because it's an interesting one, because I think Chance has sort of become, or maybe it always has been, the Chanel perfume that we're meant to be snooty about. Maybe a little bit like, you know, how Dior Hire was the one that we were meant to be snooty about. Maybe to some extent also Bleu de Chanel, I don't know. But I think if you're a kind of serious, high-minded perfume enthusiast, you weren't meant to like Chanel Chance. But I've got to say, I've always had a bit of a soft spot for it, and I haven't okay, well, I was going to say I haven't understood why people are not crazy about it. I kind of get why they're not crazy about it, but I don't go along with it. A little bit of context. We like context, especially in an episode that is about a flanker, because how can you talk about a flanker without contextualizing it? Gavin says, why do you say chance in an English accent? I don't know. How are you supposed to say? Oh, am I supposed to say chance? Chanel Chance. Oh, I've never thought about it like that. I don't know. How do you say? I've always said chance. But maybe you're meant to say chance. I don't know. Chanel Chance or I don't know. Never thought about it. I've always said chance. I'm going to stick to chance. Eric says, I was just talking to someone who wore the EDT and the Chanel advertising isn't working on her. She said, it's not new. I wore that years ago. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, Chance came out in 2002, I believe, as both an EDT and an EDP, and it was originally composed by Jacques Polge, father of current in-house perfumer Olivier Polge. And the story goes that having had quite a bit of success, maybe even unexpected success with Coco Mademoiselle, they decided to revisit that kind of territory. The territory being a sort of fruity, slightly floral patchouli scent, heavy on the patchouli. Coco Mademoiselle did that very much and continues to do that. I smelled it on somebody just yesterday in London, as it happens. Although it does it in a very, very Chanel way. And I think Coco Mademoiselle, you know, you mustn't really knock Coco Mademoiselle because it's been such a huge success that you think, well, surely, you know, it must strike a chord with some people. And Chance is, I think, was meant to be a kind of slightly more refined, slightly more elegant variant of it. And apparently Chance was also very, very, very much tailored at the American market. So the story goes. It's like they wanted to take the funkiness out of it and add a bit more of a kind of clean feel, because that was still very much the time, and maybe it is still to some extent now, that there's this idea that in North America, the successful perfumes are the ones that somehow project some sense of cleanliness or purity or pureness. RM says, I think Chance à l'anglaise is fine since they've published adverts saying, this is your chance, take it. Yes, imagine saying this is your... who knows? Gavin says, loud fragrances self-market. Yeah, but how loud is this? It's not as loud as Coco Mademoiselle, is it? I mean, its diffusiveness is interesting, I think. We're still on the name, are we? Proto Society says, wonder what Chanel Chance Eau would smell like. Ooh, I would pay to smell a scent called Chanel Chance Eau. There was one comment that I think, oh, where is it? About the bottle. Oh, C. Jane says, all the influencers say men love it, so it makes sense. Is that what they say? Is this one that appeals to guys then? Oh, I've never thought of that. Where's the bottle comment? Has it gone out? Oh, well, oh, sorry, Richard says, I think the bottle adds to the offensive nature for high-minded Chanel lovers. See, I quite like the bottle too. I quite like the fact that they've actually managed to go for something which somehow is both recognizably Chanel and yet different. I mean, I love Chanel bottles, but, you know, after a while you kind of think, okay, how many different types of rectangles can you present, you know, or cuboids? And, you know, I like the fact that it's sort of like, you know, the Wheel of Fortune, and it's got, it's very, very, very Chanel, and yet it is different from the others. So I don't know, maybe I'm just not on the same page as everybody else with this one. But finishing off the context, 5 years after the original release, they gave us the first flanker of it, and the flanker was actually the EDT of Eau Fraiche, and it was meant to be a kind of much lighter, more citrusy version of it. And then the flankers came a little bit sooner after that, because in 2010 they gave us Eau Tendre, and in 2015 we had Eau Vive. Up until that point, all of those flankers were EDTs, but then we got an EDP of Eau Tendre in 2019, and now this EDP of Eau Fraiche. Maybe we're not going to get an EDP of Eau Vive, I don't know, but we should smell it. I have got a pre-sprayed blotter as well. Rachel says, I like the bottle. The fragrance reads very young. Yes, and I think it's always tried to appeal to... hang on, I cannot write and talk at the same time, being of the male persuasion. I think it's very definitely always tried to appeal to a younger demographic. The advertising has always been about younger demographic, but it's also, I think, meant to have been the most light-hearted of the Chanels, the most carefree, and that's okay, isn't it? So anyway, here we go. Chance Eau Fraiche EDP. Oh, Rich says, is there not supposed to be a new men's offering on the horizon? There may well be, but I don't know. At the moment, they're going to be putting all of their attention on the new advertising campaign for Blur, right? Because the Martin Scorsese ad should be coming out very, very, very soon. The one with Timothée Chalamet, or Timothy Chalamet. And that joke is wearing a bit thin now. Beardy's interesting, says, my wife and I comfortably share our bottle of Chance Eau Fraiche EDT. Now, because this is really quite citrusy woody, with that patchouli coming across, you could completely see it as a slightly more daring than most masculine. See, because it's Chanel, you know that there is at least going to be some kind of minimal standard of quality to the ingredients, and so the citrus note is convincing. I mean, what is it? I suppose I'm getting slightly more tart things, you know, like maybe limes and tangerines. What is there officially in it? Let me tell you. I don't have a press release. You may be relieved to hear. It says citron. Okay, that's interesting. So, you know, take the one that we're probably least familiar with. And then The floral is supposedly a jasmine, and yes, okay, I could go along with that, you know, maybe sort of generically white floral, and then a woody kind of patchouli-ish ambery base. See, the other thing as well that people complain about with Chance is that they say it's insufficiently distinctive, and I kind of think it is distinctive. So let's just go back. Let's let that blotter do its thing. Let's go back to original Chance, although this is the EDP, and I've pre-sprayed that one as well. I haven't smelt this for a while. Let's see what this one feels like now at this stage in the 21st century, you know, over 20 years after its original release. See, I still think this is okay. It doesn't deserve the disdain that it seems to get. And you can see how it's trying to be a sort of more polite and maybe more North American version of Coco Mademoiselle, because Coco Mademoiselle has got that slightly kind of boudoirish accented feel to it. And here the fruitiness, the patchouli note, you know, I would, you know, personally, I would much rather smell this than Angel. Genius perfumery though I think Angel is, it's something that I think I would. Angel has always struck me as something that I would be more interested in smelling on a blotter or smelling almost as a kind of intellectual exercise rather than on somebody with whom I'm, you know, sharing a meal or going to the theatre with or going to the cinema with or whatever. This, I think, is more chic, is more stylish. I mean, if you can think of such a thing as a chic angel, I mean, you know, that is a little bit of a contradiction in terms, but if you can imagine a chic angel, I guess Chance is the chic angel. And I've always liked the fact as well that in Chance there's this kind of a suggestion of a cedar note, and which is maybe the thing that makes it come across as more elegant. I've always thought it's okay. I've always thought it's okay. Let's see what the pre-sprayed Eau Fraiche EDP is doing. Is that the one? Right, here we go. Now, of course, I've said the A word, so you're all writing about Angel. What are people saying about Angel? Eric says, people go real crazy with Angel. I see Jane says, my mum oversprays Angel, and I hate her for it. Please restrain yourselves. I like wearing Angel more than I like wearing it on... interesting. SMC says, I like wearing Angel more than I like smelling it on someone else. So you like inflicting it on people rather than having it inflicted upon you. Ty says, Coco Mademoiselle is the chic, clean Angel, in my opinion. In fact, that was the inspiration behind it. Okay, so maybe Chance is the chicer one. Pradeep, oh, what's Pradeep saying? Creed are an intellectual exercise. Oh, yes, okay. And so on. I'm wearing Angel today, says Ty, and Angel Muse. What, both at the same time? Well, it was nice knowing you. Gosh. Anyway, pre-sprayed Eau Fraiche. This is actually, it's kind of surprisingly seems to be much more about the citrus than anything else. Let's get the pre-sprayed original Chance. Make sure I'm smelling the right thing. Yeah. Original Chance is doing that musky, patchouli, woody thing, which I personally still think is quite attractive. I do. Whereas this, the Eau Fraiche EDP, you know, almost comes across as a kind of Guerlain Aqua Allegoria, where it's really just wanting to keep things very, very, very balanced, very simple. It's a kind of straightforward duality, citrus, wood scent. Rachel says, Eric, good question. What's Eric's question? Would you say this compares to Cristal Eau Verte? Well, that is really pretty green, isn't it? No, it doesn't have the kind of coldness of it, although maybe I ought to go and revisit Eau Verte. I don't know. No, that didn't come to mind. It's more about the woods and the citrus. See, I would very happily wear this. I don't know whether that means it's a kind of epic marketing fail because people are going to be watching this video thinking, oh my goodness, he's a middle-aged man. We're hoping to aim this at like 16-year-old women, and he's saying he would happily wear it. But just, calling it as I see it. Paige says, I tried this last week. Okay, have the sample in front of me now. This reads American High School and the generic clean smell that gives me an instant headache. Scrubber, I'm in California for reference. Interesting. I do find that genuinely interesting. Ty says, speaking of Cristal, sort of, it's been repackaged and reformulated. Yes, well, I suppose that was bound to happen. RM says, Chance for me is reflective of Carl's efforts to infuse a sense of youth to the brand. Okay, so Mr. Lagerfeld, I rest in peace. It matches his pastel work during this perfume's release, an about face to the brand's matronly image before. That's a bit of context that I like, and the kind of context that I am not always able to give because I'm not as sort of clued up with what happens in the haute couture world, but that's a useful one. Rachel says, lots of young guys in my fragrance club love this scent. Interesting. See, I think we're onto something here. I think maybe, can you imagine if like the next Chanel masculine was Chance for men, and maybe actually then they could call it Chancer. Have Chancer and Chanceuse or something. Yeah, Chanel, you heard it here first. I'm expecting my cut of the profits if indeed we have a Chance for men. I think Chance for men would that would work. That would work as a concept, wouldn't it? Chanel Chanceur, says Brody. Agree with young male 100%. I like it. There are so many other scents out there that try to do this thing, that kind of, light, joyous, effervescent, carefree thing. They try to do it and they fail. This tries to do it and it succeeds. And it's very, very attractive while it's doing it. So there we go. I'm going against the grain with this one. I think Chance has been having an unfair treatment over the years. But let's not talk about Bleu. Okay, last word goes to Anne, who says, I enjoy wearing Chance Eau Fraiche for its sparkling lightheartedness. Thank you. Sparkling lightheartedness is absolutely right. Thank you very much for watching, folks. Thank you very much for the comments and the questions. If you're not watching the live, feel free to leave a comment. And please, please, please do consider giving this video a thumbs up because it helps get the word out there on YouTube about us, about this little community that we've built up, and about lots and lots of perfumes. So I will see you before too long. Stay tuned to social media for details of more videos coming your way. Until then, take care. Bye now.